And we're live.
So I mentioned earlier that there's been a bit of a thing in the wings world, and I just like to keep people up to date on it. I'll be quick about this because I know that our guest doesn't know much about our old friend Wings, but basically this guy's getting a gastric bypass surgery in Mexico. He's been teasing it for a while.
Redemption at all?
It's okay. He's raised over.
Maybe I have. Maybe I just don't recognize it. I'll look it up. But go ahead.
He's raised about $25,000-$30,000 from fans to get this gastric bypass surgery in Mexico. He weighs 460 some odd pounds. He's been heavy for a long time, and the fans are kind of like, dude, you got the money. What's the holdup here? It just seems like you're sitting on our money. And so his latest excuse, Woody, is that his sleep schedule is messed up. And so he's not awake during the hours that his mother is off work. Makes sense, right?
I'm a little lost, actually.
Everyone was, until he went a bit further and he explained that he needs to go over to his mother's house when she's off work because he needs her assistance in booking the appointment. You see, the Mexican doctors are going to need her passport.
He's 32 years old. You don't need a parental signature when you're 32 years old. You could.
No, see, what you don't understand, Woody, is they've got to punch her passport. When she gets 3 of these referrals, she gets a free burrito.
Oh, well, yeah, now that you lay it out like that, sure. No,
this is the third.
He's not a good liar, right? It would like. He doesn't understand how passports work. That much is clearly true. Doctors don't stamp passports. That's a thing. They don't even check.
I love seeing you're like with a Rubik's cube of retardation. You're just like,
Jesus Christ!
It's like 8 different colors. It doesn't make sense.
There's more colors to the sides.
One of them's polka dotted. What do I do with the polka dot one?
It's just that. So the people who donated thinking that he was all right. Wings has a superpower. This is for Kit, in that people forgive him, right? He doesn't come across as like a strong man who's got his act together. Instead, he takes all his weaknesses and vulnerability and lays them bare. And it's actually kind of appealing. Like, you know who this guy is and what's going on. And you're riding this roller coaster of life with him, which, by the way, just goes down and down and down. And you're like, I don't know. He's like, man, in the time I've started YouTube, he's like a YouTube OG guy. I'm going to call it 10 years. That's a pretty good estimate. 9.
Okay.
And I bet he's gained 150 pounds, maybe. Kyle, does that sound reasonable?
In the last 10 years?
Yeah.
Well, he is our best source of information. So he's gained somewhere between 200 and 8,000 pounds, roughly. It's really hard to tell. Honestly, I would say he probably was at like 330 when he first started his YouTube careir. And so, yeah, I guess those numbers work out.
Something like that.
Perfectly, actually. Yeah, good call.
So, actually, so maybe because we didn't see him in the very beginning, there could be 20 more. So he's gained about 150 pounds. He's now about 460. He has a hard time walking around, as you would, and people donated to help him turn his life around. And this is the second time, right? The first time there was a boot camp. He went to Kyle's house. He sort of helped him get his act together, lost 40 pounds and found it again. Now he's going to get a gastric bypass, which seems like it would be a more permanent and effective and like a solution where you can like buy the discipline that he doesn't seem to just have wired into him. And he hasn't come out and said that he's not doing the surgery. But if you watch, it kind of seems like that's in the implication. And, when he says, look, I haven't been able to schedule the surgery because, I sleep so much that I'm not there when my mom is awake and I need my mom to help me book a surgery. He's 32. It's like, oh my gosh. Now it's like the jig is up or the gig is up. One of those is this ever going to happen? Just call Wings.
Let's take bets. Does anyone want to bet that it's not going to happen? Because I'll bet that it is going to happen.
I'll bet you then. $5 straight up, no odds.
$5 straight up, no odds. It will happen. And by it, I mean that he will go to Mexico, and he will go to Dr. Garcia, graduate of the Hollywood Upstairs Medical School, and he will get a gastric bypass surgery.
I win this bet if it becomes 2019 and it hasn't happened.
I was gonna say, what's the time frame? That's important.
It's March
like
right
months.
now.
Okay,
it's 9.5.
Although if I will say this, I feel like the bet is null if the doctor refuses to complete the surgery because he weighs too much.
I'll take a push on that. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Virtual.
No, I like what we did there. Yeah, $5. I
hope he does it.
I hope he does it too. Oh
I
yeah.
think that
Oh my
he's gonna,
gosh.
like once I feel like he's just never hit that like momentum level to where you're excited to be seeing the progress. Because like if he lost like 50 pounds or something right after the surgery, which you do after that surgery, like super quick, I feel like then that would like kickstart him, and he'd be like, oh okay, I'm not in some impossible scenario. Like this is
Taylor.
possible.
Taylor, have you ever been working out and maybe you need to put 2.5s on each side to get the exact weight you want, and then after doing a few reps, you realize you didn't put a 2.5 on one of the sides. And you're like, I didn't even notice.
Yeah,
that's what losing 50 pounds is like for Wings of Redemption.
He will notice it in his face.
We didn't notice it. Look at those. You've seen the before and after pictures, the postcards that we put out after he lost 40 pounds. It was like,
oh, yeah. But what was he at then, and what did he get down to? Versus what is he at now?
He went from 440 to 400.
But the thing is, there's a difference between us seeing it and 11%, right? Like, I've lost 6 or 7 pounds lately. And I think it's like, your beginner gains that no one else can see or gives a fuck about. But me, I'm looking at my body like, this is like an archaeological dig, The first 2 feet barely reveals any dinosaur bones.
We got ribs here. We got ribs.
But they're poking out, right? The next 2 feet are going to reveal awesome Woody, final form perhaps. But I look and I'm like, oh my God, that's an ab. Now, I don't pretend to have abs or anything like a 6-pack, but that's where they're going to be. And I can see them like emerging. That when Wings loses 50 pounds, he'll do that too. Everyone else will be like, oh, you basically look like the same guy, just like they say to me, I'm sure. But to Wings, he'll be like, there's a difference here. I've made an impact. I've scratched that first 2 feet off this archaeological site. The next 50 pounds, and everyone's going to treat me like they do Boogie. They're going to say, holy smokes, look at the difference on you. Look at these before and after thumbnails. That's what will happen if he gets the surgery.
I bet I get that weight. Like, it's so, like you were just saying, it's hard to walk around. I can imagine being that heavy. It's hard to walk around.
Yeah.
Like just standing up is going to get easier. Like I feel like after like a week or two, he'll be standing up to like walk and get water or whatever you drink right after the surgery. And he'll be like, that was way easier than before. Like I don't feel exhausted. Like, and that would be a good motivator. Yeah. Sorry, kid. I jumped right on you. Go ahead.
No. I was just going to say like a lot of it, at least from what I've heard, comes down to like forming habits though, right? Like you have to get used to doing something different. I'm not like a huge health buff or anything like that, but I know at time when it came out with all the apps that were like track your calories and stuff like that, I remember the first time, which is the same thing with like Mint and all the financial tracking. It was the same exact thing where like once you start actually looking at every little thing you do, I was like, oh my goodness, like look at what is going into my body. And so that alone, when I just started doing little things, I realized I don't need the extra. Like if I order a burger, I love barbecue and I love burgers. So it's like, I don't really need to eat that whole rack of ribs or like, I don't actually need to do that. And then I got used to it. Like I started forming some sort of habit where it's like, sorry, I'm not trying to offend people. It's just, I think that might be part of it too. Is like,
but did you go through a weight loss journey?
No, not really. I have some friends, who have tried and sometimes I think it's, for us, it's like who maybe, I don't know if you guys have or haven't, but I've never really been into soda, right? So for me to just be, well, just stop drinking soda or like just stop doing this. But yeah, for me, a lot of it was just starting to decide I'm not going to drink sugar. I do unsweetened iced tea now or whatever, and I got used to it, and now I don't even like sugar, you know. So
That's
I like sugar a little bit. Okay, let me go back. I like cheesecake. Cheesecake is good, but in my drinks,
a significant portion of what like heavy people's weight, I think, like people who are obese, is like stuff like sweet tea or sodas or just slushies or whatever the hell, because that's like if your vice is sugar, that's like freebasing, where you're like, oh, I just guzzle this can of Mountain Dew down and it's like I get a little high off of it, like, and you don't have to go through just cutting out soda. That's like the number one bit of advice from every personal trainer on the planet. And they're like, I want to lose weight. And they're like, stop drinking soda. And they're like, well, I don't want to lose weight that bad. I like my Dr. Pepper.
That to me is one of the easiest things to cut. And it's not that I don't like, sweet tea or lemonade. Those are my vices. It's just, when you switch from soda to water, you don't go hungry. When you start removing snacks and like, oh, it's 3 p.m. Dinner's not till 6 and I'm hungry right now. That takes a little bit of willpower, but to just be like, I'm thirsty, have water. It takes less willpower, in my opinion. We have the thing. Should I show that, Kyle?
I'm sorry. I'm not sure what you're referring to. I was just kind of throwing that in there. You don't have to show it. It's, it's whatever.